Alrighty. Welcome everybody. Kappa Council. Episode, let me quickly cheat, I think it's 7. With me today, myself, the other self, no, Scorch 13, Shadee, and Lou 90. I don't know how to start today. We got 6 new cards. Basically, that's what the entire episode is mostly gonna be about. I don't think, well, yeah. I think that's going to be enough. Like, we're going to be able to talk about that. Twitch chat will probably have their ideas and input and just, you know, wrenches to throw at the discussion as we move on through these cards. But yeah, hi and welcome everybody. How are you guys doing?
Good. I didn't get to test out the new cards today because rip Android, but I'm excited to see what the potential, especially with the qualifier coming up this weekend. I'm really excited to see what ends up happening.
You know what?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what? Android testing is kinda like a tiny topic we could at least just quickly touch, in the sense of like how have everyone here tried it on Android or on mobile phone?
Yeah, I got to try it out.
Yeah.
Lou, have you tried it?
No, I haven't. I haven't even thought of doing that. But
You don't have you don't have a phone?
I do have a phone, but
Because
I
I
don't
thought you were
like-
like a woodcutter and such. You're living in the forest and things.
I don't like playing card games on the phone. It's a bit too tiny for me to
You need to
control.
get a
that,
big
like-
phone. A big...
No, you don't. Like, it's not bad. The way they've set up the mobile, the dragging's not too bad. Certain things are actually like click, and then it'll give you the same way that it does on PC. It'll give you the kind of arrow stem from your hand, and then you click on something else. But even like the dragging for land and that isn't bad. I thought it would be. It would be very small because you're moving from, or you're moving to such a compact space on the phone. But like, I have a Samsung S6, which isn't like a huge tablet or anything. Like, it's just a normal size phone, and it's fine.
Yeah, I have the S7 Edge, which is I don't know what the fuck the specs are anymore. It's the one with the curved edges and the curved thing, which is so like, it's such a gimmick. And I think they're even going with it on the S8, and it's just like, why? Because I promise you, you will be holding the phone. I'm trying to show, like, you'll be holding the phone on the edges, be like, I'm not touching the screen, and it's like, no, yes, you're touching the side of the screen, so that's a click, and it's like, no, it's super annoying. It's so, it looks good though. But I actually played it like once or twice on the bus. Like, I downloaded the whole freaking app, like 700 megabytes or something, on the bus using my data. Like on my way home from work, because I'm like, I gotta try this. And you know, the interface is different. Like, you don't have the wheel, and they definitely, like, they did what they could, I think, to improve this you know, to make it better on a small screen. Like, cause that was my thing as well. I was like, God, how are they gonna make this board and shit work on a tiny ass fucking monitor? And basically what they did was, like, they cut off like the top and the bottom so that the board could become at least a little bit bigger. You know, they put your cards to the side of the board, and the action wheel is something else. It's like, you know, it's not even a wheel. It's just squares with
Yeah,
the things.
it's a pretty basic setup.
Yeah. But I actually think so it works, right? It's just that, I felt like it was a bit lagging. Like, I only tried like the very first. I'm not sure if they updated anything during the testing, but, I tried it. I won a game with blue jump, so that was good. But it felt slow to me. I felt like I was playing slower. It felt like, me who thinks a bit and wants to look through my actions were kind of like felt pretty stressed. I didn't feel like I could play out my stuff as quick with the finger and the board and things as I would with a mouse pointer, right? Like, so it felt like I would need more time per turn just to play out intricate, actions and things. But so I felt like I roped every turn. And I realized quickly that I really need to make my decision pretty quickly, and then slowly and methodically start playing it out, because you want to be very precise when moving things around and such. But and maybe there's actually tools there where, like, because I was thinking PC version where you click and drag and things, but apparently it felt like some things now on the phone you just clicked the creature and then you clicked where you wanted things to go, and I was still thinking click and drag, right? So yeah, it was different, but surprisingly looked very good. Like, I'm surprised. Basically, what it made me want is a tablet. It made me want a tablet because I want the bigger screen. But I would love to have a tablet and play it on a tablet, actually. So it made me want that.
Yeah, I got to play it on the Samsung tablet, and it's a like 10.1 inch screen or something.
Yeah.
And they just use the exact same format that they have on PC. You still have the wheel and everything's the same.
Oh, okay. So you still have the wheel on that, huh?
Yeah, and you can definitely be more precise in that than a phone. Like, it doesn't feel as risky. Like, where you're clicking, you can be a little more casual with it.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's funny because it kind of takes a while to get used to, because you have to move your hand from like one side of the screen to the other so many times. So like the actions during your turn do feel like they take a long time if you're playing on like the enemy side of the board and stuff like that. Just because of that extra, you got to reach like 10 inches across the screen or whatever.
Good to work out at the same time.
Yeah, right.
The thing that I also realized was that, if you have a buffed creature on your hand, on the because you're just mouse overing, on the PC, right? But on this you have to hold the card. That was pretty awkward too, I felt like. I do think the phone UI for the small screen would probably be even better on the 10-inch tablet, because of, I would just like it more zoomed in the way that I did it on the phone, even on the 10-inch. So I hope that they maybe even, it would be great if they could somehow make that an option. They did say... I
really like the setup of that for Spectator. Like, I posted this in the feedback just maybe a day or two after I got in and started fiddling around with it, even just spectating on the phone. I think it's a much nicer setup spectating that way versus what you get on PC, where you kind of look like you're playing, and then the player 2 cards are just up in the top corner. Because the spectating on the phone puts player 2's cards the same way it does up in the top corner, and then your action wheel, which is just the very basic setup, right in the middle, and then the player 1's cards are in the bottom right corner. So you actually see basically orb to orb right to the edge of the screens, and then you see each player's hand way better than what we currently get in spectator mode on the PC. So I posted that in of like, that actually looks way nicer, spectator mode that way, with that more basic action wheel, just from a tournament perspective and a spectating, for when we do the monthly cup and the qualifiers and that sort of thing. Obviously it really doesn't matter for the casual player, but for us, having that kind of more information on screen instead of when the cards are basically hidden for player 1 because they're below the screen. But I have no idea if that would be possible to implement just in a tournament lobby, to have a completely different UI than solo or than playing just the game itself. But yeah, it's kind of weird how it's so different, but it just looks so cool to me.
All right. I just realized I fucked up because I haven't started recording this.
Oh God.
But it's okay, because it does save on Twitch, but I'm not sure whether they mute this because I played music way before. So this will just be... This part will just have been something for you Twitch guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just quickly gonna play 10 seconds of the intro song, say hello again, and have that recorded. Or did I actually start recording? Let me double check. No, I didn't start recording. So fuck it. That's something extra for you Twitch guys, you live watchers. Jesus Christ. I just saw it as you were talking, like, wait, it's not recording. What the... Oh, man. Why? Why do I do this? Yeah, no, I'm not sure how Twitch does it nowadays, you know. Like, I just know the old information of Twitch, which is that they will do, like, a 30-minute block and such, but maybe they just Twitch...
No, it doesn't do 30 minutes anymore. It does, like, 5 minutes at most whenever I've gone back to
and our music is allowed. Like, the music we use for the council is allowed, so maybe it will all be on Twitch then. We'll just do it for the sake of backup then, like in case of Twitch and internet shit. Like we'll just do the recording from now anyway, and I'll just do it like this. We'll just do this. We'll start the recording. We'll play the song.
Reduce net cost.
Yeah.
And we're back on the Kappa Council episode number 7. 1.1. I'm not sure. Whatever you call it. But yeah, welcome everybody. Depending on what we upload to YouTube, this might look different and be interesting. We had a bit of technical difficulties in the beginning. We talked a bit about the Android version and how we felt about that. Just really short, really sweet. If that is not part of the YouTube upload, you can go to Metagamingtv on Twitch and find a highlight of it, something like that. If it's not part of the YouTube video, then I will make a highlight of it so you can see that little discussion, I guess. Alright, I'm Screaming102, Scores 13, Shadee, Lou, welcome again. We're gonna just instead of continue, like, there wasn't so much. We talked a little bit about the Android version. It makes me a bit excited, though. I think it's pretty cool that they're actually just going towards mobile. I never thought they would. I never thought this game would be a game that would work on mobile, but, you know, I really wanted to know how many, like, I wish they could release some numbers, how many actually downloaded and tried it on mobile, right? That would be great to know. I'm curious. I don't think it will be that many that have tried, like, as many as playing the PC, because it was a beta, it was a test. But I'm curious how many play it on tablet, and I'm curious... something they said, by the way, is that they changed the name of the tablet version to Faeria tablets. I guess meanwhile they're... Because I guess there's... You know, it's going to be difficult if they have, like, a beta for mobiles, because it's the same store. So if both are called Faeria, or Faeria Beta and Faeria, they're like, what's the... Yeah, so, you know, they're having a version, the split version. And I assume that eventually it's going to be one and the same version, and it's somehow just going to know which, you know, if it's a tablet or phone you're getting it on. I guess they're going to eventually merge them into one client, so to say. One for Android, one for iOS. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's pretty cool. I think it's awesome. The next step I want to see is Xbox and PlayStation. I would love to see the game on that, actually. I think it could do really well. I think it could. I'm not sure how the interface would be, but I think on their website they actually have that as, like, listed as platforms. If you find it, I just remember seeing it at some point, like when we were talking about it at some point.
At least.
Yeah. So I think it's something they have planned in the future. I think with the consoles the way they are, it would be great on Switch.
Yeah, should work really nicely on that, actually.
I don't have that. I haven't tried it, but from what I hear, that could actually be a pretty good platform to have it on. VR, Twitch thinks.
The only thing, if they go to consoles, they have to implement, you can come down and look at the screen, like, in 3D mode, and then go back to the overview. You need a button that, like, allows you to enter your orb and actually see the battlefield from their perspective.
That would be VR, right? Like VR, like you're the god in the orb looking out over the battlefield as you place your tokens. Yes, that would be cool. That would be cool. All right. So from which angle should we tackle this? There's been 6 new cards released today. Yeah, today technically. Yesterday, if you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, today. The other day. Yesterday. Whatever.
On March 16th. Or May 16th.
On May 16th. Yeah, there you go. I'm actually looking up the news article. But that's 6 cards. Okay, I'll show them on the screen. I even set this up. There we go. Boom. We got Iona Smile, a yellow, 2-cost, 2 deserts event. Draw the top 2 flying creatures in your deck. We got Illusion of Grandeur, a 7 cost, 2 lakes. I was gonna say Faeria. 2 lakes creature that starts as a 0/0. It has charge 2, and it says whenever you summon a creature that costs 1 or less, this gains attack and life equal to that creature's while in your hand or deck. So it doesn't grow while on the board, but as long as it's in your deck or hand, this will grow for every minion you play that costs 1 or less. Deepwood Stalker, green card, 3 cost, 2 forests. Gift, fight an enemy creature. And I just learned a thing about that today. Well, it released today, but I learned a thing after playing with it for quite a while. The Emperor's Command, neutral event, 2 cost. Choose one, give a creature -2 attack and -1 health, or deal 3 damage to a structure, or gain 4 life. The red card is Krog's Dinner, which might be the most fun one thematically, I think. 3 cost, 2 mountains. Your Krog costs your Krog costs 7 less. When you summon Krog, destroy this. Gift, if Krog has died or is in your deck, draw him. Alright, and the last one is a neutral creature, 2 cost, with the new keyword Divine, which it means that it can't be targeted by spells or events, basically. It can only be targeted by... Well, I mean, I actually don't know if it can... we'll go into this when we talk about it. But anyway, it also says, when you would take fatal damage, prevent it and destroy this creature instead. But yeah, basically Divine is like a spell shield, I guess you could call it. So, you know, direct spells will not touch this card. Should we just start from the top left?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, might as well.
The most experienced here is Lou, who has played all day.
Wait, what?
I'm just talking about playing card games, nothing else. Because I don't know anything else. Anyway, so because of that, Shadee, what do you think?
Oh God, no, no, Lou, take this. I'm not gonna embarrass myself with some shitty opinion.
Yeah.
Why do we have you here?
Iona Smile is actually the card I had most success with today.
Okay.
When I built a flyer stack. So yeah, the first obvious deck you would put it in is a yellow flyers list. But I think it has maybe potential in other decks, like you can use it to pull out Twin Souls, you can use it to pull out Soul Eaters or Nets in a sacrifice deck. But yeah, I guess in the future maybe we see new fly cards. But as synergy as well, you don't have to play it in a mono yellow deck. But that's why it's maybe easiest to make work right now, because in the past you often ran out of creatures with flying decks. And also the Sky Captain has some really nice synergy, because the 2/4 that gives flying creatures buff if you draw them. You can just play it and then use Iona Smile and get buffed flyers, which is really nice.
That's what I was thinking about when I read the card and I saw people talk about it, was that, yeah, with the Drakkar, this is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. My only thing was, like, as long as it worked properly. Because Time of Legends, when it was introduced, didn't work properly as card draw. Like, if you had a Wandering Monk on the board and you played Time of Legends, it didn't get +1 attack.
Does it now?
So it was... Yeah, I think it was fixed.
Okay.
So that was my only thing. As long as this came out like working properly, then yeah, that Drakkar Sky Captain just looked so juicy with this. There was a bunch of discussion on if this would fit into like yellow events as well, because it's another event for yellow. But I don't think there's enough flying to justify that.
I mean, yeah, I don't have the yellow event.
Someone in chat also mentioned Radiance.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant. In something like a yellow sacrifice deck. Yeah. You run Doomgate, Radiance, Nets, annoying Nets. It can be decent to pull off those combos.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the card when you talked about yellow events. You know, I'm thinking like, sure, there's not that much flying, so maybe that, but maybe then you have this as a one-off card, like maybe it could just work as this, you know.
I think the only thing with that is, like, if you're only running Kaleem as you're only flying, you're probably going to run Time of Legends, so then why would you run Smile?
No, but I mean, like, if
It
you
just
have
doesn't make sense to have
but I'm not
it
sure
in
if
again.
there is no other flying yellow events, is there? Like, you don't really run
Yeah, I don't
anything
think so.
Also, people underestimate it a lot, similar with Time of Legends. The Faeria cost of just drawing another card is pretty significant. It means if you, for example, as for Time of Legends, whenever you play Kaleem with it, you always pay 6 Faeria for Kaleem. So, do you really want to have a 6 cost Kaleem or 11 cost Garadan?
Right.
Or everything is more expensive, and that's pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, you definitely want some event synergy from the card if you're paying for it.
That's why you can run the Sunsilk Fairies, if you run a flyer stack.
True.
The 1/1 that gets the buff when you draw an event.
You increase the event chance of happening.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Shadee, have you had any time to play any of this?
Yeah, so I tried everything except for Illusion. But with Iona Smile, I was having trouble keeping that going, just keeping enough Faeria and stuff. I was running 3 of them, and I was also running maybe like 6 events total, and then I think like everything else was just flyers. And I was just, it was hard to keep draws going that kept my Faeria up enough to really get any use out of Smile. I'd end up with like 6 or 7 flyers in my hand and just no Faeria to use anything, which partly comes down to just not playing enough games with it and just my own skill. It's very possible I was just screwing that up, but I think I like it more as a specific draw, running a couple of them in a deck where, like Lou was saying, you want to draw like your Soul Eaters, or you want to draw Radiance, or like you have a good idea of like the 4 or 5 flyers that you're actually going to pull out of your deck. I think it'll be more useful like that, but it's hard to say.
Anything else to add about Iona Smile? What did Twitch thinks about Iona Smile? We only had a day to do this. Maybe to pull Mistral Guides? Oh, they're flying.
Yeah, like Remora mentioned, if you play Smile and have Faeria problems, you can run Soul Pacts in a deck like that. And that was what I was thinking when I made my yellow deck, but it kind of worked out always in the end. You just have to... I'm running a yellow fly stack with no Windborn champions, so you just make 2 deserts and can use the wheel to +1 or draw, and this way I get more Faeria a bit earlier.
Yeah, that's true. If you get like a good Faeria engine going, like, my God, you can flood the board so fast. Like, like you're guaranteed to have creatures to drop all the time as long as you're drawing into this.
Really nice,
I wonder if it'll find its way into a red-yellow burn, just because you're gonna end up with like.
I already tried that, but it's way too expensive with the Faeria cost. I tried Air Elementals and Spectres with Iona Smile, just to have accelerated Spectres. Like, you play Smile, then you have the Elemental for Desert, then you have the Spectre already. But it turned out I never had enough Faeria.
Yeah, because that's just my thinking of, like, you're going to get your opponent down to a low enough, and then you're just drawing cards hoping for that Spectre. So if you could have another way to basically tutor out your Spectres. But yeah, I mean, that's a 9 cost just to play one of them, right? So a lot of times you're even struggling to find 7 once you do find the card.
Yeah.
I just looked at Discord, by the way. Oh my, it's just Shadee, me, and Scores that can see it, unfortunately, but should we show that later? That's fucking awesome.
Might have to. That's great.
Oh my god. Holy shit, that is so good.
That's good.
You like it, Shadee? Yeah.
I like that. That's awesome.
How do I do this so Mr. What's his face can see it? I'll do it here. Look at that.
Okay, cool.
What do you think, Lou? Does it look like
I was about to say it's Shadee, but yeah.
What?
That's me, dude. Blonde hair.
Yeah, it's exact same headset that Shadee uses.
Yeah.
Alright, it's the same headset as well, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll show you guys soon. Sorry, it's
Who
to sidetrack.
made that?
Wicked Mouse on the MGTV Discord. If you look at the Twitch banner, you see that's some old drawings he made of me and a guy called Adam that's not streaming anymore. And I was like, hey, couldn't you draw Scorch? And he did. All right, so we'll show you that to you guys real soon. That was super sidetrack, just because I got so amazed by the skill of Wicked Mouse, who drew a cartoon version of Scorch, basically. So we have a cartoon version of Scorch. Maybe that can be a card in the next expansion.
Oh man,
that would be great. Anyway, the next card I think is extremely interesting, because I did get to play that a little bit, 30-40 minutes before we started the Kappa Council today. Illusion of Grandeur. And I think it's awesome because you'll name any deck that Lou makes with this will be Illusion, right? So I came up with the best deck name for that. But yeah, so I played one. I don't know how many peopled. That's a word. Peopled. How many
peopled
watched Lou's stream today? I mean, I know a lot of people did. I'm not sure how many of those who are watching this right now did. I'm gonna assume most. So, did you play that much on your stream? The deck that I tried. Lou.
A little bit in the beginning, but then wanted to play ranked. I think I played in unranked.
I played ranked. I'm not scared.
I got like 6 blue jumpers in a row, and I was too tired of getting like countered by the hard remover. So yeah, it's a fun card, but it clearly has some weaknesses. What I like though about it is that it's similar like a Soul Eater or Apex Predator, where you just build your deck around and then it's a win condition. And yeah, maybe we can talk later a bit about what synergizes with it.
Yeah, because
what's your thoughts on the card?
I mean, it's so I played it with I played the deck you came up with, which was the other blue card it ran, Phantasm. So it ran Phantasm and Grandeur, and then it was just red. Well, okay, it ran Baron Thulgar, it ran Magnus, the neutral legendaries. It ran, all the red cards. It ran the Bargainers, the Ogre Dance. It ran basically everything that was like 7, 8, 9 cost in red, right? So it was running the Red Devil. It was running the Battle Ogre, or Ogre Battler, I guess it's called, and the other ogre, whatever it's called. I'm so bad with card names. I'm horrible with that. But basically, since it grows, I mean, it's so stupid, honestly. Like, it is so insane. I mean, it's probably not broken at all, but it's just so insane in that bargain list, because it gets attack and life equal to the creature you play that costs 1 or 0. So if you play, I think it is Ogre Dance, or even the Bargainer.
Bargainer is the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's 7 discount, right? On a card. And so if it costs 7 or 8, it's gonna cost 0 or 1. So you're gonna drop like, the Ogre Battler and the things that is like a freaking 6/9, and this card is gonna get insanely huge.
The funniest thing about this card is that it can actually buff other versions of it. So if you manage to,
if you hit this one with a discount,
the next one will have twice.
And if you play Mirror Phantasm, that's a 5/5 for 0 and then you make. So you obviously included what's it's called, the Farm Boy in this deck, right? And I was like, when I saw Farm Boy, really? And you're like, and like basically the second you're like, well, it's a Phantasm target. Oh, of course it is. Like, of course, I know, right? Like, I was just like, for a second, I was like, I understand it's a Harvester. And then I was like, oh yeah, makes sense.
It's also very good to empty your hand, just very cheap, so you can control the bargain effect. So let's say you have 3 cards in your hand, and one of them is a Farm Boy, the other one is a Bargainer. You can just play the Farm Boy for 1, and then you have the guaranteed reduction effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I think the biggest thing of this is that it's just that costs 1 or less, not that has base cost 1 or less. And you see with a lot of the discount cards, right? Like
Yeah,
if it was
one-cost options,
if
like
it
a
was
farm
yeah, like base cost.
and
Even if it was like base cost 2 instead of 1, you're still so limited in things you can do.
yeah.
it wouldn't be
Yeah,
good
but
even if
it's
it
so
was,
cool.
even if it was creatures that cost 3 or less. Like where would you draw the line for when this became good then, right? Like it
I mean,
would.
3 would already be pretty solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
almost,
I guess it would be, because it would be the creature, the big cost creature you have in your deck, and you play just a bunch of cheap ones, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
would be pretty insane, actually.
But I think this is pretty insane already. But it's definitely aimed for the discount. Like it.
yeah.
I mean, they knew the
that's not
synergies, right? Like they didn't go like,
that's
oh, I
not
wonder
the
where
only
this will fit.
synergy. You have synergy with Aurora's creation also,
Oh,
and then
Oh, yeah,
with
that's right.
Aurora's stream. If you're really crazy and want to
oh
try
my
that.
god! Oh, I need Dream in this now. Wait, how do I get 24 Faeria?
That's probably never going to happen. Blue Jump already killed you 3 times before that happens.
Wait, blue player, don't. Oh well, actually, the blue player is the scary one to face because they will have Frogify. But
Well,
at the same time, when you start rolling in playing huge stuff for free, they only have 3 Frogify. Like it's gonna be a problem eventually. But if they can just stop you from get rolling, right? Like if they need to just stop your pace and tempo real quick, because it takes it takes a few turns before you get that first discount going. I feel like you can definitely get screwed by this deck. Like you can get a bad starting hand and not get the discounts and stuff. But there's a lot of discounts in the deck, so you do have the chance to find it and get going. But I can see how you can get shut down. I've only played like 2-3 games. So.
Voice of Truth outright kills it, right? Since it's a 0/0, it just wipes it off the board.
That
I
is
actually
true.
really like that they statted it as a 0/0 base
Because
instead of like
of that.
1/1. Just because then you get Voice of Truth and it just instant kills it. It's pretty interesting they went that way with it. But yeah, it's as much as you say like if blue's the one you don't want to face because Frogify, it's like, well, no, because Last Nightmare in yellow, now Voice of Truth in green, or Frogify in blue. It's just like
Proof is the hardest counter because it's
just
like
such a
Last
big swing,
Nightmare.
right? Like it kills it, and you get a 1/5 on board for 4
and it's
Faeria.
4 cost.
Yeah, it's
It's
the best.
It's so good. In chat, somebody just said, "Truth dispels the illusion." That's
Nice.
they named them perfectly.
That is
It's
perfect.
a very good statement. Yeah.
I think it's
I don't know if it's.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if it's enough. Because Blue Jump is still like. I mean, we didn't see any balance changes, right? We just saw the new cards. So Blue Jump is still the same. So I'm interested to see if this is enough to pull people away from.
I look at these cards and I see nothing really that counters Blue Jump.
Yeah.
The Stalker maybe gives Green some nice tools, but what do you really kill for 2 health? Like you have Battletoads, and you can't even kill them. I feel like Modest is kind of a distraction, like to maybe make people try something else.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, half of my games were Blue Jump I played today, so the Fun Police was around there.
I don't mind not seeing a balance patch though. Like they've introduced 6 new cards, right? So if they do a balance patch and introduce the new cards, and then something needs to be fixed out of those new cards, then you end up with an awkward balance patch right after balance patch.
That's true,
so I don't mind of early next week type of thing, or give this a couple days and maybe Thursday, Friday we see a balance patch. Again, that's cutting it kind of close to the qualifier, so I would more likely expect it to be kind of Monday, Tuesday of next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they did balance patch plus the new cards, then maybe they have to do something again next week, and then you end up in a really awkward looking spot from the community standpoint. So I don't mind not seeing it this week.
Somebody was saying in the Discord earlier that maybe they were we're waiting on the expansion to solve like the meta problem. I was like, that's so far away.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants 4 months of blue
No,
jump.
they're not
like
gonna wait for that. They're not gonna wait. Yeah.
And not only that, I feel like just by adding new cards, you don't really fix a meta, because that the only, like, some of these cards right now, those are problems, and you don't fix the problems by just bringing cards that hard counter them or that might even get better with it, because you just have to make small changes, and like, otherwise everything gets out of control, I think.
They sort of helped blue jump with Emperor's Command, didn't they? Like, doesn't blue jump just use that now because it's so versatile? It helps you with trades. It still has the 1 damage that Falcon Die would have.
I haven't tried it, but I think it's a viable choice now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we're sidetracking a little bit. We can like like I find it interesting.
Like always.
Yeah, but it all revolves around the same thing, which is that they added 6 new cards. We're gonna talk more about them, but they didn't do much balance changes. Apparently, Krog got nerfed to 4 mountains. I did not even notice that. Did they even write that anywhere? That he?
Yep, it's in there.
They did, yeah.
Okay, I missed that part.
And that was it's hard to even call that a nerf because they released Krog's Feast, which goes with it. So they almost like synchronized it with that card in a way that wasn't just completely broken. Like, he's not even it's almost hard to say he got nerfed because they really just changed him to work correctly with the card that they put out.
Yeah.
It's the same thing of when the nerf happened with Forbidden Library. It's coming down too early, and it's really oppressive if you don't immediately have an answer, so we're pushing it to 4 lakes so you have a little bit more time. Now with Krog's Dinner coming out, if you're going second, you could get Dinner into Krog on turn 2, I think it was, true, at 2 mountains, because it would be 8 cost. So so you just go mountain, explore mountain, and then it's like, maybe Krog's not in the right position to really do anything, but it's something that you have to consider. So pushing that to 4 mountains just means you have to wait until turn 4 now. So maybe your opponent has a response to Krog's Dinner, or they have something ready for when Krog comes down.
Yeah, Krog is definitely more viable now, but his effect is still horrible, and the fact that it dies
I can't even remember the effect. It's also discount,
right? Aurora Strict is also very bad.
Yeah.
How much does it discount? It's also 7?
7, yeah.
But in terms of cost efficiency, like you only spent 1 card because you draw it with the effect, right? Yeah, so it's 8 Faeria in total for the 2 12s.
But the discount only works if the feast is on the board, right? Like, he only discounts.
It only works if it's on the board.
So you generally want to combo them together, just depending on what you're playing against. Like, if you're playing against red or something that can clear your feast, you want to make sure to not put it down too early.
However, isn't, if I understood the feast, we're talking about the feast card. Let's show it. So it's the bottom middle one for those watching the overlay. Yeah, we're skipping, but we glided into this, right? So Krog's Dinner. So if Krog has died, you actually draw him back. So this is the first ever card we really have that interacts with the graveyard that we don't really see anywhere, right? The question is, I don't know if anyone tried it yet, what if he was transformed?
I don't think he comes back.
I was so discussion around it.
Yeah,
I was so close. Okay. I was so close to testing it. He got Frogified, but then I never got to play Feast again.
So he comes back if he's Frogified, right?
He doesn't come back because he's gone. He didn't
die. Because technically he didn't die.
He never existed, basically.
Why can't the game just be like, oh, here's the frog then? Wouldn't that be great? Or the Phantasm, like awesome. you get the Krog, but you get whatever he was turned into, right? So it's like, Princess turns into toads and shit.
Yeah, it's kind of saying like it doesn't create one if you don't have one in the deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the problem with Krog is, in the past, people tried it with Meteor and some expensive cards, but it's just super hard to pull off, of course. But I tried to build a version with combat effects like Gift of Steel and maybe the ranged buff, the cannon carrier.
Oh.
So to like go from another perspective to just build everything around buffing Krog, giving him mobility with Horse Masters.
He's so expensive to play.
Well, it's 8 Faeria, but yeah, that also didn't work too great. Just in general, Krog will be the meme of Faeria probably.
I'm so disappointed with this card. Like, I get what they were trying to do. Like, they're trying to give you something to make Krog a little more viable, but it's so directed towards a single purpose, whereas every other card introduced is really just, here, figure out what to do with this. Whereas this card is, here's one thing that you have to do with this card, and that's it. It's just kind of disappointing to see that that's the way that they went with something like this.
But I don't mind Krog not being viable because I feel the random effect of it is really annoying. So
somebody says that Krog's dinner needs to be played with a bit of blue, like enchantment. It's like, yeah, but then you're paying so much, and every time you see, let's just stick with yellow and blue as your opponent. You're like, fuck. Like Frogify and Last Nightmare, I'm screwed.
Yeah, I was going to say that the two most popular decks on ladder have really easy removal for them, and one of them neutralizes Krog and Krog's Dinner because they transform. So
I
think you can make stuff like this work if you play solo missions or against the practice mode, but that's not something you want to play in ranked.
We're gonna return to the patch talks, I think, or the lack of balance patch talk. But let's just see if we can get through the cards a little bit then more. So Deepwood Stalker, the green card, top right on this picture. Gift, fight an enemy creature, and I don't know. I just instinctively went like, okay, fight an enemy creature. So I need, like, I know it doesn't say, but I instinctively played this adjacent to the creature I wanted to fight. And I even was like, man, I need to make a forest so I can play this card to fight that enemy there. And then like Twitch is like, you can fight them anywhere. I'm like, what? And I was like, does he take damage? And I'm like, yeah, it's like a normal fight takes damage. I'm like, but that changes everything. Like, it actually made the card much better in my opinion. But
of course,
when
I first heard of that, I thought it's insane and really strong, but then I thought a bit about it. I think it's okay.
It's not.
You can put it in the standard green Voice of Truth deck, but you can also build your deck around it with hand buffs, which is just on its own a weaker deck. So
it's not a great deck. Hand buffs is like super weak to Frogify, Last Nightmare, and Voice of Truth. Like basically 3 of the 4 colors counters the green buffing so easily. So
I would say this card is mostly like if there's some free tools in the meta like Fanatics or Rangers, so it's probably very good against yellow. Also Yellow Rush, that's not being played, but you can kill the haste creatures from them.
It's like haste, but it doesn't collect.
It kind of acts like haste because it forces the fight right away, except you don't have to be right beside it.
Which is actually really good, because you can kind of pick out some targets that. You can play it back defensively and just pick up something.
But
it's kind of like a pseudo movement for green as well, right? Because you can place it in a more protected position or across on the other between the wells and kill your opponent's creature between the wells, or if you are able to combo all of those hand buffs together, you can play it aggressively and clear whatever your opponent's big creature at your orb is, and then you win the race that way. So I really like the potential of it, but I just don't know how it actually plays out.
It's just to play it in a hand buff deck. It's too gimmicky. Like most of the time it comes down to you spend 3 cards like Oakling Feed, and then it needs to hit the right target, and then it's basically just as good as the Last Nightmare. So it feels more a role of a Soul Drain or a Cypher's Wrath in a in a mono green deck or in the mono green collection.
Yeah, it costs 3, so you almost
Yeah,
want to look at it like an event almost. You know, I can do
Yeah,
2 damage to a
it's-
creature anywhere playing this.
Yeah, it's like just a little bit of finishing off potential that green always wanted.
Yeah. We had a comment in the Twitch chat there saying Stalker plus Barracks. I don't think it works that way.
Sure it works. I've heard like one of my one of my teammates played that on the Vanguard version. And he said, I think that's Cappuccino's deck. Yeah, he made one with Cragthorn and Barracks and.
So it does give it the Barracks right away.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And
That's pretty
Totem
cool.
as well. Tiki Totem also works.
Okay. That's
Huh.
pretty cool, actually. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you get more Tiki Totems. Like, let's say you
Yeah.
have Tiki Totems on board, you get 5 attack damage on them. Of course, everything else sucks in this deck then probably.
It's a cool card. I I did make a green. I just threw it together really quickly without thinking too much about things. But I threw together a green list with I had Court Jester, I had Oaklings, I had Feed the Forest, I had
It's one of the better cards,
Yeah.
but in a good spot, like not really too strong, but also not too weak. It's like just where I like new cards to be.
Yeah. And I actually ran Feed the Forest as Feed the Forest, what's it called? Voice of Hunger. Hunger, right? The Hunger card.
Yeah,
the one that
also- I
eats.
also-
Yeah. Because I was like because I've always liked that card, and I even forgot because I haven't looked at it for so long because I haven't because it's not been viable and it's not been I don't believe so much in Oaklings usually, but the fact that it grows its attack and life based off the life of the creature you eat, so I put in 2 Grizzlies as well. And it was fun. Like I actually managed to win like a mirror actually, where I actually ran up against somebody who did not exactly the same but very similar, and that was kind of fun. But he ran Voice of Truth, and I was like, oh yeah, that could be a good tool to have maybe, because you could drop that, lower the health of a buffed opponent, and then eat it with the Voice of Hunger because it's a 1/5, so it will actually buff that quite well. So I might just even remove my Grizzlies for that, actually, just considering. I don't know. Because it's just something I threw together. And I guess I went 3 wins in a row. Felt good, went to my grandparents, came home, lost like 3 games. I'm like, fuck. But it felt good though, like it felt fun. But yeah, the moment you see somebody start with a lake, you're like, damn, this deck is kinda. I don't want to see
I think
Froggy
then you
Face.
just wouldn't all in on it, right? You'd put it to.
You try to spread it more.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
like 1 Oakling buff and then play it instead.
Oh yeah,
of
and I
2 or
ran
3
Bone
typically,
Collectors
like-
too. My average
Yeah.
cost in the deck, I didn't like again. I kind of put it together quickly with like, okay, let's see what synergies I can squeeze in here the most, and I realized that, with Bone Collectors, I even put in like 2 Bloom Sprites because like, well, they will give me discounted random cards. Probably not the best to have actually, but Bone Collectors, Oaklings, Voice of Hunger, and the Court Jester, the Deepwood Stalker being so cool when it gets these buffs and such, and
That's pretty similar to what I also made.
yeah, it was really fun though. I gotta say, it was really fun. Because I've always enjoyed green with Oaklings and buffs, like the good old early access. When I can't even remember why it was so good back then, but obviously because the way the cards were balanced and stuff. But yeah, I just always liked the green with their buffs and such being cool and good and working. It's just that with the current meta and everything, everybody's running like a Last Nightmare or Frogify, and it's like everybody's just been like, yeah, big creatures may not exist. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, so many decks right now reliant on their win condition, right? Like even Blue Jump, if you have to play that way, relies on the Colossus. Yellow Events, you're eventually looking to get your Colossus down. Even Green Yellow Sack, you're getting your Soul Eater. It's like everything right now builds towards a big win condition creature. So yeah, hard removal is just so much more prevalent in the meta.
Yeah, but at the same time, I want to say like, it's too bad there's so much hard removal and everybody's running it, so you can't get big creatures. But then people will be complaining about all the big creatures, being the only WinCon, I guess, and I understand. It's what it is. However, how broken would Deepwood Stalker be if gift was fight an enemy rather than creature?
Oh, it would be insane.
So you could hit orb.
It'd be
Because
insane.
I had a moment there where I was like, man, I wish I could hit orb with this.
Yeah.
Modding would probably already have an OTK deck for that ready.
Right? I would love that shit. Come on. No, Scream, just no. Oh, sorry. Twitch chat is already just telling me no. No. Bad Scream. Get back in your cage. Alright. I'm sorry. It would be... Come on. It would be gimmicky. It would be great.
And they did a good job, like with having the 4 colored cards covered now. They did a really good job of introducing tools for decks that aren't like being played all the time. Like it's obvious that they're looking into ways to expand other archetypes and make them usable. Maybe aside from Krog's Dinner, since it's so specific. But like obviously like Illusion giving, a discount and additional tool to help them. It's kind of a lesser played archetype. And then Flyers and mid-range green also being the lesser played of their individual colors. It's nice to see that they have new options and things in the works and coming out.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I'm a big fan actually of the design of cards like Soul Eater, Apex, and I would put Illusion of Grandeur, what you call it, in the same category. It's like a win condition that you can build your deck around, and that's also what I like about Faeria. You can build your decks in so many ways. Like a game like Hearthstone, the game already tells you what kind of deck you should build, and like everything is kind of determined, like what has synergies and what you can put together. But in Faeria, I'm still all the time experiencing new ideas or see decks that I haven't thought of on ladder and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I like. If there's just one card that already enables a new deck, that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go with this card. So the 2 cards we haven't talked about as much is obviously the neutral cards. So the bottom left here, the Emperor's Command is. It must it must be one of the better ones. Like, I mean, I actually like all of them, but like the moment I saw it played against me, I was like, oh yeah, fuck, this has to be an auto include now in so many things. Because to me, this is the neutral Swiss Army knife. Like, it is, it gives you 3 options, and it's kind of cool because it actually kills. It's like how to say this? It's like a Falcon Dive on steroids, because it's now at 2 cost, so you can still kill anything with a 1 health. If you're lacking your Falcon Dive, you'll pay 1 more, you'll still be able to remove a creature with 1 health. It does that effect. But you will also be able to use this in a lot of situations where you'll be up against creatures where you're like, man, if this creature only had like 1 or 2 less attack, then I would be able to get a good trade here, and now you can, because it lowers the attack by 2 and the life by 1. The deal 3 damage to structure, such a cool tool, perfect against certain decks that runs certain structures. And in this particular game, I need a bit more life, because this bloody burn player has hurt me a bit. I'll use that instead.
Yeah. So I'm a really big fan of having a flexible heal card.
Did you say you're not a fan or a fan?
I'm a big fan of having a flexible heal card.
Yeah.
Like, you would never put a card that just heals you in your deck, like Healing Song, I think it's called,
Yeah.
Simply because if you're in a spot where you need to heal with that, you probably already lost the game anyway.
Yeah.
So paying 3 Faeria to gain life and would just give you 1 more turn and then you lose later. So that's a good thing. The only problem I see with it is the damage to a structure. Might be restrictive to some structures. However, I'm also happy we have an answer to structures.
Yeah.
Also that it's something flexible. I think the 3 damage though is something that the card might or other structures have to be balanced around.
Yeah.
Like that's basically the breakpoint. Is the structure oppressive, something like library, and should it be answerable by this card? Or is the structure rather weak and not really so dangerous, and maybe the structure should be able to survive this? So
Basically, they
be...
kill the. I mean, with this card, if people start including this in every deck, they've kind of murdered library decks, right? Like they're just
not really,
now.
not really.
No? Okay.
Because you pay 1 Faeria for library and 2 Faeria for the removal, so
okay.
They need to have the answer at the right spot, and they overpay by 1. So it's not that bad, but it might be worse with other cards like the Gabriel Cistern, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That one gets really hard countered. So I would actually have preferred, like the healthiest change would be to make this 2 damage and change all the structures that are problematic to 2 health as well.
It feels just late for this, right? Like we had a meta for so long where it was like Altar of Souls and Forbidden Library were just everywhere. And there was a bunch of people in the community that were like, hey, we need an answer to structures. We had a big discussion on this on the Kappa Council within that time frame as well. That was just like, if we had a card that allows you to deal with structures outside of red, which had Flame Burst and Firebomb, and really your only tools, your structures don't end up as bad.
Yeah, that's a good point, but on the other hand, I'm not a big fan of a meta where you have one card that's really dangerous, and then you have another card that's the hard counter. So what this leads to is heavy draw RNG. So if one guy draws the structure, that's a problem. He's in a really good spot. Unless the other guy draws the answer, then he wins the game based on that. So I don't want such a big disparity in the impact of having the answer or not.
I think it's still a good thing because like you have the answer, but if you're playing against a deck that doesn't have those type of cards, now you have a dead card in your hand, right? So you're playing that game where sometimes you're going to have the perfect response, sometimes you're going to have a dead card. The big thing with this is that it's so versatile.
Yeah, that's true.
That you just end up with a usable piece of the card in almost every deck.
Yeah.
In almost every matchup.
From the perspective of the guy who runs the command, that's a good thing. But like for the player with the structure, it's just such a hit or miss. It's the same as if you play a big creature and like you can't play around Last Nightmare sometimes. But it's better right now. It would be worse in the old meta with the broken library and the broken altar, where you basically rely on those cards. But yeah, if the structures aren't out of control, then it's not that much of a swing card.
I mean, the question.
Yeah, because playing this into something like Derelict Tower or Overgrown Tower, like you don't really feel too bad about it, right? You got to use it once.
Yeah, because anything that you
end
can
up
control,
trading 2 Faeria for 2 essentially.
Yeah, that's basically what I mean. It should be like just you have that card and the game is decided.
Yeah.
It should be such a swing. Yeah.
Would this card still be decent if it didn't have the 3 damage to structures?
I would think so.
Because the debuff just on the card, the debuff with the option to heal or debuff something, or nerf a creature, whatever you want to call it, makes it look really good to me. Like
that's a good point, because I think I haven't used it yet.
Do we need the 3 damage to structure? That's what I'm saying. Do we need?
I haven't used it yet on a structure, to be honest.
That's what I'm wondering. Like it feels like they're like, hey, they're gonna have 3 option. What should the third one be? Like I'm like. I mean, or maybe they thought about the first 2 and went like, let's give it gain life too. But I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like the damage to structure is needed. It's not like, oh my god, we have to have this. Like, no, it's good based on those 2 stats.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give
but
a
on
shit
the other
about
hand, I'm happy that we kind of have an answer to structures. I think they should just make it that it's 2 damage and then balance structures around it where 2 or 3 health is the breaking point. Like you have 3 that don't get hard countered, and then you have 2 health structures that are like maybe cheap, like a library is a very good example for a perfect 2 health structure that I'm okay with that dies to this. But
yeah, I would honestly, if instead of taking out the damage to structure, I like having that in the game as an answer to certain oppressive things if they ever come back. I would rather see them attack the debuff of this, because going at that -2, -1, when you can use it against, you know, high attack and life creatures, you know, the big guys, and get better trades, you can also use this as a removal for little stuff. Most of the time, it's probably not going to be as much value, but when you can use this against something like Shadee Assassin and you just kill it for free, that's
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
a better Falcon dive, right?
okay,
Like,
so Shotgun said in Twitch chat, funny how they're not talking about the fact that this card goes through protection, and it's not that we're not talking about the fact that
we
it
just
goes
haven't got
through
to the debuff yet.
No, we haven't got to that. Yeah, we haven't gotten to that point yet. And honestly, I myself personally didn't really think about it that way. Like, it's not dealing damage; it's weakening a creature, right? And protection is basically a lot of people are, you know, there's. I'm trying to think of what interaction I've seen some people wonder about, new players. Like,
I remember the first time when I started Faeria and I played Soulwind on a protection creature, I actually thought the drain effect goes through the protection. That was over a year ago, but I still remember that. And yeah, that's actually how the -1 debuff works here.
Yeah. Because it's like, okay, so Shadee Assassin just got weaker. King's Faithful, which already wasn't seeing play because mid-red was already bad. Now you've lost 3 Faeria on that card. Like, it's dead. It's so difficult to see this. Like, even if it just said give a creature -2, -1, unless this would kill that creature, then I think it's fine. But just the fact that you can kill something like that outright, which is a good answer for those decks against certain things, then like, Shadee Assassin is really good against like the big stuff from green, because it struggles to deal with those, and then you just run this instead. Like, you end up gaining so much value.
I mean, how should protection work though? Like, I mean, some people think it's this like spell shield, but it's not, right? Like, we're getting to divine here soon, right? But that's really not what it is, right? It stops damage.
Yeah, it stops the first source of damage.
Right. But I guess Soul Drain, it is one of those where, like, should it go through or not? like I don't know. I really don't know what it should do there, but you know, it's damage shield, and I guess this is a debuff, so it's not really damage.
I just want to mention briefly in chat, Bob Lyon said that he killed an archer with a Windstorm archer with a stalker. Feels good. Yeah, that's actually something I haven't thought about yet.
It is a perfect counter to.
That's a good thing. I don't mind archers being like.
That's what I mean with like it being a pseudo movement as well, right? Like, you can reach anything.
Yeah.
Because decks that are like designed to maneuver around you.
The thing about the blue jump metas that we don't have a ranged creature archer meta.
Yeah. It was a green player I played against. I think I'm not sure if it was mono green or if he was green red or something, but he was running the Emperor's Command, and I was like, oh yeah, that card is good. You know, it should definitely be in green decks. I think it should. I mean, it feels right now like a card I would like to just include in everything I do.
I want to run in a red deck.
Okay, red burn.
I think it fits
I think, I mean, red, one of the things with especially mono red burn is their creatures are weaker. Sometimes you need like a debuff so you can get more value.
Oh, you think like that?
Mono red, naturally you're not going to run heal, so maybe you have a use for the gain 4 life. Sometimes they're weak on movement, so you need the extra reach to get to a structure. I don't really see having an issue with running it in a mono red deck.
What do you replace?
It doesn't hurt in any deck. That's true.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? Is I don't see a downside to running this card.
No, except that, like, what do you remove from certain decks then?
Yeah.
Like how do you fit it, right? And how many do you want?
Yeah.
That's the tough one.
Yeah, we can actually compare it to Falcon Dive and Punishment also. I sometimes liked Falcon Dive in mono red a lot because lots of creatures have 4 health and your AoE is 3 damage. So what that means is you have a very
Just run
cheap way
famine.
yeah, but it's all about the Faeria efficiency and yeah, I think the one cost matters a lot, but on the other hand, the versatility of the command probably makes it better than Falcon Dive in almost any case. And punishment hasn't been run in a very long time anyway. It used to be in the meta for a while when there was Steamforge in rush decks. And yeah, punishment can deal more damage to neutral creatures, but that's not really that important.
Yeah.
Somebody is saying here that this card is a constructed wheel of chaos.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar in some ways. Yeah, I can see that. It's funny. Anyway, I think it's a cool card. But honestly, it feels like they went one step too far with the 3 damage to structure. Because I really would. I think the thing when you look at this card, you go like, oh, debuff or gain 4 life. Great. Oh, I get 3 damage to structures. Oh, I'll take it. It feels like you're getting like more than you need. It's a bonus. You don't really. There's already 2 things there, which makes this card an auto include in so many decks because it's a great tool and it's yeah. I think we're soon gonna see this in most decks just because it's I think it's gonna have a huge impact on what we see.
Yeah, I'm really curious what of these cards actually make it to the monthly cup.
Oh god.
And succeed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not sure how good the yellow, I don't know what you call it now, event, mobility, pew, like all the event synergy of yellow, right, with the chargers, the archers, right, and this is an event too that debuffs
And
something.
you have even choking sense synergy, PogChamp.
Oh god, oh god,
I saw people talking
god.
about like debuff and Aurora's trick synergy.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
See? Jesus Christ. Alright, so the other neutral card. Divine Guardian. Somebody, I'm not sure, they probably spelled it correctly, but I remember reading somebody in Twitch chat when I was streaming. I'm like, what do you mean Divine Garuda? Like, what do you mean? I was like, what is that? And then I'm like, oh, Divine Guardian. Okay, I get it. But anyway, like everything else, we haven't even touched on that. We'll do that later. Divine, though, new keyword. Basically spell shield. No spells touch this creature.
Well, it's
and
it's
abilities.
targeted spells.
People say abilities. So, question: Ground Shaker?
Yep.
Wait, what? Yep, as in it doesn't do anything.
No, it hits it.
Not
AoE.
it
It hits
hits
it.
it directly.
You can't target it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
basically everything where you click on with a gift effect, that doesn't
So,
work.
okay.
So it could gain attack from Steamforge. It could get hit by an Elderwood Hermit. It can get hit by any AoE, but it can't be targeted by anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Crack Thorns heard it if you're lucky.
Yep.
Hellfire
Or buff it.
Or buff it if it's on your side.
or Flame,
It worked and
Firestorm. Okay.
You
Yep.
could have added that in your Oakling Feet deck.
Yeah.
My Oakling Feed deck. This.
Yeah, you can Oakling Feed and then this gets buffed and your opponent can't use Last Nightmare.
Oh Jesus! Or Frogify, right?
I think
It's an
it
anti-frog. This needs to go into the hand of buff stuff.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Actually, yeah.
Oh. And
And
it's
I
only
could
2.
bet it's also a very good harvest on its own. Because
You just go opposite side.
yeah,
You're like, stay away
yeah.
from me.
yeah, and you don't really have to use your creatures to fight that often because you run removal in like most control decks. But yeah, with all the mobility, probably your opponent gets his creature very close soon, and it gets traded for free.
But you can't buff it with like you can't buff it yourself with like Elderwood Embrace and shit, right?
Oh no.
No, you can't target it either.
Oh.
Or you shouldn't be able to.
No.
You can use Voice of Hunger to eat it and enable it. So that's also pretty cute. I'm not sure if the fatal damage prevention really matters on this card.
Yeah, it feels odd. Like
It's
But
probably best
it's
used if you can drop it in a race situation right before you're about to die, and you will win the next turn.
yeah, like
Yeah,
away
Yeah,
from any
that's-
creature. You're like, haha.
it's still a nice little detail. Like if this was only 04 with Divine, it would be a bit boring. So I don't mind having more cards with interesting text that makes it a bit more unique. I think that's cool. Yeah, not really a strong card, but maybe there will be a time where this card has more synergy, or the meta suits it very well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that it's such a strong collector, and I really like the card text. Like I know that Monnik and Lua, of course, said like the card text doesn't matter that much, but my favorite part about it is that it makes it not a dead card in so many more situations other than just like throwing down a 0/4 to collect. Like when you're in that race situation, if you draw this later in the game, basically where you don't need to double collect or there's not really a safe spot to put it down or something, like it at least stalls by like that one extra turn. There's so many games where you're one turn off of lethal. And if you're on opposite sides of the board and the opponent doesn't have enough Faeria to play something to stop this, or they have a spell and they can't target it, you just won that game just by dropping it in a safe position.
Yeah, but it doesn't work like an ice block, right? So it only it prevents one damage ping. So let's say you're 1 health and they play flame burst and then another flame burst. You're still done.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's too bad.
It's a semi healing basically most of the case.
I do like the kind of introduction of this mechanic. This is kind of what I was hoping for when we saw. Oh god, and now the name. I have Faeria open. What's the structure? Runin structure.
Overgrown tower. No. Runin Shrine. Runin
Shrine. There we go. Thank you, Lou. I knew. When Runin Shrine got changed from its old version where it blocked all the damage, I really wanted something like this where we saw that type of a mechanic reintroduced, but on a creature instead, so that you can still do things to affect that creature on the board instead of a structure, which we had very limited ways to interact with before. So it's really cool they're introducing something like this, because if you're in that situation and your opponent plays this, maybe you're playing yellow and you have a Choking Sands to kill it, or a Last Nightmare, or playing blue, you could have Frogify and play it on that instead. But you have ways to react because it's a creature, and you can play around the fact that your opponent has played it, instead of what we saw before with Ruin Shrine, where it's just like, okay, well now I need 8 more damage because I have no other ways to interact with that structure.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, Shadee got up and away for 2 minutes there, and I don't want to push it towards. I want everybody to pitch in on the next one, but it's overall, what do we think? Good cards, bad cards? Like, how does this affect things?
I feel like it's not the time yet for this card to shine. They're maybe in a different meta, or if there's something else that supports it, can be viable.
I mean, these cards overall, do you think?
Yeah, if you want me to rate them, I would probably say on top there's the Emperor's Command, then behind that Iona's Smile and Deepwood Stalker, then probably Divine Guardian, Illusion of Grandeur, and then Croc's Dinner is probably least.
Yeah, I would definitely put Krog's Dinner at the bottom.
Yeah.
I think Illusion is. I think Illusion and Deepwood Stalker. I think Emperor's Command is like the front runner for sure.
Yeah.
I think Illusion of Grandeur and Deepwood Stalker are the two that we see more. Iona's Smile really only fits in flying decks, I think. And I'm not sure how much flying is going to come into the meta. But I think Deepwood Stalker fits really nicely into decks. And I think Illusion of Grandeur fits really nicely depending on what you are going to run, especially in those bargain type of decks. I don't know if it's quite enough just because hard removal is so prevalent, but maybe you're able to then focus your opponent's hard removal onto that card, and then you have all of these other things that you've got discounted as well, and you're able to snowball games that way. But I definitely think Emperor's Command and Deepwood Stalker are probably the big two. I think Illusion's still going to find its way into decks. I just don't know if flying is going to do enough to
You mean
actually
Smile?
see Iona's Smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, a flying deck
Yeah.
is going to do enough to see Smile actually come into the meta.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. What do you think about the arts? The art of the cards.
Great as always. I think the Grog one is really fun with the frightened yak.
I was like, is that a yak
Looks
or what
really
the fuck?
creepy and behind it.
It's weird.
Yeah.
The eyes don't make
behind
sense. I don't know. It looks so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Man. I don't know, man. It's such a weird yak.
He's already got his knife ready and the pitchfork in the other hand. Oh.
Apparently, you eat it from behind. It's
Oh.
it's clearly a thing. I mean, I like the art overall. It has some cool details.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel Divine Guardian and the Emperor's Command are just like, all right, it's it's somehow humans and they don't
It's
look.
kind of similar to all the neutral ones, though, right?
Yeah,
they're just kind of basic of here's the kingdom cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Emperor's Command fits into that. Like you have the person at the bottom getting their commands. So
My favorite one is easily Illusion of Grandeur and Deepwood Stalker. Actually, the Deepwood Stalker is so scary. Like that fucking. If you Google jumping spiders or something like that, you'll like it's exactly that. Like it's they have exactly those eyes, like two big globes in front and two smaller ones on the sides. They look nasty as fuck. So yeah, jumping spiders basically, which kind of makes sense.
Scary.
If it's a
She's just trying to feed her babies.
if it's a jumping spider, it makes sense with the fight on enemy creature anywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe they should add that fight on enemy creature anywhere. Like maybe that should be for clarification.
Well, it would say fight an adjacent enemy creature if it was.
I guess.
Yeah.
But whatever. Right? I don't know. And the Illusion of Grandeur is kind of funny. There's this tiny little thing that looks like has this illusion of looking huge, which I think is fun. It really reflects like the way you use the card. It is always a huge dude that you drop. Right? It's pretty funny.
There was I saw there was a picture on Reddit. Somebody had like 86 attack, 180 health, like illusion or something. Because you just keep building it off of yourself. It's obviously just a custom game or whatever.
Yeah, I was
but
gonna say,
it was cool to see.
Yeah.
That's kind of the new thing now. There was so many threads on how big people could get possessed Ursus to.
Yeah.
And now it's immediately, okay, how big can I get the Illusion of Grandeur to?
I actually got
some.
the 78 attack damage illusion in a casual game though.
Oh my god.
You're so
But it was-
you play casual. You should go ranked, man.
Well,
Oh, he found the picture. Let's see. Wait, there's two pictures.
Oh,
The
yeah.
first one is I hate those fucking spiders.
I think I had Baron Farga and
So
it
nasty.
died, and then it gave me 0 cost illusion, and that
Nice.
basically doubled the other one.
Yeah.
Shotgun, you're late to the party. We know that already.
That's so cool.
Playing casual and trying new decks. What a... Come on, Lou. We know you could get #1 ranked with crazy shit decks. It's...
I think it's interesting you see the Stalker is scary though. Like I am not a fan of spiders, but I thought it was adorable. It's got all these little babies around and everything. He's just kind of poking his little head out like, "Hey buddy, hey guy, what you doing?" It looks so inviting. Like I just want to go hang out with him for a little while. But we don't have terrifying, deadly, poisonous spiders where I live, so that helps. That helps with the fear.
Let's see, where did I put this? All right, what else was there to talk about? You were when you came back. How does this? I guess we already touched that. But okay, so there was no balance patch, and we started talking about that earlier. What do we feel about that? Like, I honestly am disappointed. I can understand they released these cards. They're like, aha, we've changed the meta, or we've stirred things up. And I'm like, no. There's still the problem with freaking Aurora being 2 lakes, with just so many things. Like, I gotta back up Lou and be like, hey, all the things Lou mentioned that needed to probably be 3 land requirements to slow it down just a little bit, just to make it, not happen on turn 2 and shit. Like, that needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. I mean, that's not like, that's not gonna ruin anything. It's just gonna make the game feel like it should feel.
The first thing when I looked at the cards was like, nothing of this counters the current meta. So if someone actually wants to climb, he's just going to try even harder now, playing something like Blue Jump and punish other people that try the new decks.
Right?
We're trying new stuff, yeah. It just got easier.
Right. Like, that's what I feel too. Like, the good stuff is just better now, because a lot of people are going to be trying new things, and it's not going to work.
I think today I played against more Blue Jump decks than in the past days when the new cards went even out.
Oh, God.
Everybody was trying new things, and then these cards came out, and they were like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna go back to Blue Jump now."
Yeah, and a lot of people don't have the full collection either, so they need to get it.
It's
get the
actually
cards more.
super expensive for new people, but I mean, I'm okay with these cards being epic.
Oh yeah, about the rarity, right? Yeah, what do you think about the rarity?
Yeah, the rarity. I think it's much better than compared when.
But my Pandora experience, come on.
Yeah. Like, these all were commons, and we had X-Grinder, Cypher's Wrath, all of these core cards that you really need early on. World on Force, if all of those were epic, that would make the game not fun for new players. And I think Cappuccino had a big influence back then to make all these rarity changes so that new players can build up a decent collection with solid decks early on. I really like the way that Abrakam handles this.
Yeah.
Because other games, the OP cards are the high rarity ones, so if you don't craft lots of stuff or spend lots of money.
But should they not, like, maybe adjust some other cards to be rare rather than epic then? Maybe, like, lower the rarity of some other cards that exist. Because people, I don't know if it's valid, but some people complain that why are there so many epics cards? Why is
I've heard this recently. Yeah, we probably have lots of epics. That's true.
Should there be some balance to the amount?
Epics unlock archetypes, right? All of your dual color cards are epics. A lot of the good stuff that enables you to play certain things, your 3 wishes, you're even just running Earthcraft towards a 3 wishes deck. Your epics are the big distinction point between running certain things. Much more than legends are. In certain other games, you're running legends because they are deck defining. In Faeria, we end up with epics being that way. So I don't think that moving certain things from epic down in rarities is helpful. Certain things could very easily be changed, but I like that the epics unlock your different archetypes, because that means you have certain things that you play, and then as you unlock your collection, you want to build towards those type of decks, and that means you need the epics to do that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like that all the hybrid cards like Soul Eater or Apex, they're all epic. Certain, like Scotch mentioned, decks that open up a new archetype.
The only exception here really is I think Emperor's Command is going to feel really frustrating if you're laddering and you start getting to higher ranks where everybody just has it and you don't have it yet because you needed to get those archetype cards. So you're still playing, Falcon Dive or some substitute card, and you're going to see 3 of these in every game and just be like, I need to be able to afford it.
I was gonna say, honestly, if anybody's watching this and they're like, which of these cards should I craft? It's the Commander one.
Yep.
That's the one, yeah.
It just goes into everything.
Cool. The Emperor's Command, that's the one, yeah. Craft that one. That one. That one, yep. But yeah, so lack of a balance patch.
You could even for lower level players, you could even just real quick take like multiple budget decks and use that as your first like epic set unlock, and throw it into like 3 or 4 budget decks and just make all of them stronger. If you don't want to be locked
it is
into
really
like,
true.
archetype,
Again, yeah, it's really
you
true.
can just do that.
Yeah, like the the green blue enchantment list, which I think is so much. Actually, I need to go play that. I love that deck. I think it's really fun. I just haven't played it much, and my problem is always when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna include this card. Oh, what do I remove? But I mean, again, like if you can squeeze in just 2 of these, I think it would do wonders. Honestly, you'd probably improve it by a lot, just as a tool. I think.
As far as the balance though, I think because they released these cards, now they have. I'm willing to give them some wiggle room and say, okay, you have like another week or 2 before I go back to complaining. Yeah. you delayed.
Abrakam.
This is your down payment. I'm coming back next week. Make sure you have the rest of it.
Or I take 2 fingers. Right? Index fingers too, so. Okay.
But I mean, that's kind of the way that I think, right? Like, they introduce these, it doesn't fix the meta because it doesn't fix the really strong decks, but it introduces some new things, see how those decks function, and then balance everything at once instead of balance and then a wave of uncertainty around the new cards and then another potential balance right after. So, yeah, I was expecting to see some balance today, but I can see why they wouldn't, just because they're unsure of the new card's impact.
Well, for all we know, Monnek already broke the meta, and he's number 1 on ladder. And in the course of this stream, he has already climbed above everybody. So,
Yeah.
something like that could happen. Well, within a week or something, like something crazy could come out, I guess.
All right.
I've actually got a question on this of these 6 cards, of compared to the 2 pseudo releases. I guess this is going to end up being more for Lou and for Scream because Shadee won't know. But when we saw the 10 new cards back in November, we saw really kind of out there mechanics, and I felt like the 6 new cards when 1.0 was out, when the expansion was announced, felt very kind of conservative. How do you feel this ranges in comparison to those?
Wait, which cards did we get at 1.0?
I think pretty similar.
Did you say we got 6 cards at 1.0?
At the expansion announcement. Yeah, it was like the week after 1.0 or whatever it was.
Which cards was that? Shit, how stupid
Watson
do I feel right now? Can you just
Yeah,
say...
that was like Mistral Guide, Herald of War, Triton Trainer.
Oh, right.
Of course, we all know now the impact that Triton Trainers had. But...
Okay. My brain was like, which, like,
Of course, the ones in November were horribly broken.
Yeah, because that's the one I remember. Yeah. Like when Scorched War, like I was like,
that could collect and Reaver was.
But we saw so many things at that point that was just, here's a whole bunch of random stuff that was really broken.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like when they introduced the 6 new ones back for the war effort completion and the expansion being announced, those ones felt fairly conservative to me compared to the 10 that we saw. So it was just kind of how does these compare to those?
I think they're in a very good spot. Like, just like the last one was also, like you said, conservative.
Yeah.
But nothing too broken except the trainer. And I think this is the same. I don't even think Emperor's Command is really such a crazy card. I mean, it's too fair, it's very flexible, but the only thing where it has a high impact is if you kill a Shadee Assassin, I would say. Otherwise, it's very often have 2 Faeria Falcon Dive.
The mono green versus Sack matchup just got so much better. I'm so happy about that.
Oh yeah, that of course, yeah.
Yeah. Because both those cards can be used, even just the Deepwood Stalker at a 2/4. Like if it hasn't got any buffs, you can use it to pick off the assassin and then get your big guy in past that card.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I actually really like these pseudo releases, or what you called it.
Yep. Just mini releases type of thing.
Yeah, I wish they did it every 2 months. I think would be a good
Can
cycle.
they make cards that doesn't? Yeah, can they make cards that?
Actually, I think
I'm sure they have a ton of ideas.
But can will it be good?
Cell and Fox recently made a forum post, an interesting one, where he talks about this and how they should do balance patches often and card releases. And I think that was pretty similar. So, yeah, that just keeps the meta fresh. Maybe once a month would be too much, but from a competitive point of view, because the meta usually settles down in my eyes after 2 months. Like I always say, after 1 month, the top decks are figured out, and after 2 months, people tune the best version of it. Yeah. Of course, with a higher player base, this would accelerate because more people try different stuff, and it just everything is faster. But yeah, I would be happy if we could see something like this every 2 months.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I can't wait to see what the 30 new cards are gonna be. That's
yeah.
I hope we see some like whole new things.
Will definitely change a lot.
Yeah, that's what I like so much about this release is it was almost they're almost showing off like look at all this new stuff that we can release now and still have 30 more cards coming. They obviously have ideas for like they're affecting structures. They're looking at fun stuff like Krog. They're doing a lot of Divine, introducing new keywords. So I have high hopes for it.
In the past, I felt like some cards are just horribly boring. With so much potential that you have, especially with the board, but just in general effects. Like I always hate the Elderwood Hermit effect, the 1/1 that gives a random buff to a creature when it dies. That's just like a copy from other card games. It's not even interesting because it's the RNG, and like I just hate that card. And
it's like really that RNG is really bad here too, since you have the board mechanic. It can if it hits the wrong creature, it can be so much worse than a regular
it's on the
card
wrong
game.
Side for training also,
I mean, sometimes you have it much more controlled. I muted myself by accident. Sometimes you have it much more controlled where you only have one creature on the board, or you have a couple, but you can make trades in the right ways beforehand. So you end up with these controllable situations. But yeah, sometimes it is really punishing.
Yeah. But like opposed to that, I think also from the last pseudo release and this one, all the cards are very interesting and pretty unique when it comes to design.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the big thing, right? Is especially moving towards the expansion. One of the big things that I wanted to see from the new cards is new mechanics, and we've gotten that here. We got structure interaction. We've gotten over the last a couple tutors. We got Time of Legends and now the flying. We now see Divine come out, and we see, although it's not exactly a keyword, there is the card text of when you take fatal damage, prevent it. So whether we see that on more cards or whether this is a one of a kind, it is new and interesting mechanics that they continue to push out in the game. And I think there is so much potential in Faeria for new mechanics, new interactions that just aren't explored yet.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And actually, what you just said makes me super hyped for new options. Like I just can't wait to see what they come up with, because what we already have looks pretty promising, and I can't even imagine like having 30 unique cards.
Imagine 30. 30.
Oh my god.
I just want some. I just hope this is the time when we see stuff that was in the Kickstarter version. Like I've said so many times when I mentioned Haunt and things like that, the forest stuff. But I just want something that interacts with the land that you're standing on or such, right? I want that back in the game, because it was in the prototype of the game, you know, where you had like, because back then they had they had more than just Faeria as a currency. They even had gold, so it was super complicated, right? But you would have this card that when it was like, so it was a miner, and when he was standing on a mountain, he would each turn produce a gold coin for you. Which, you know, instead maybe you have something that produces an extra Faeria then, or something like that. Just something that does something when on a forest, right? You know, maybe grows every turn if it's on a forest. Maybe have a forest creature that each turn, if it's on a forest, it grows 1+1, right?
And even to point of like debuffs as well. Like this creature cannot cross through forests or something like that. Like
that's cool.
Or like some form of like anti-aquatic where it can't cross through lakes, right? Like you have all of those potential, not just the potential for buff cards, but debuffs as well, or neutral cards where if you summon them on a special land, they get an extra buff, similar to what the Explorers currently are, but instead of having that land requirement, you end up with summoning them on that land. Like there's so many
that would be so cool.
Be,
like one creature that had like 4 different effects depending on the land it was summoned on.
That'd be sweet.
So
one of my favorite effects that's similar to this that someone made a custom card with is that a green creature that has charge while it passes through forests. So you can build a line of forests and it could charge through it. That would be pretty
Somebody's
cool.
making
it can continue moving as long as it's through forests.
Infinite options, honestly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I would love to create all cards by myself, but then when I think of the expansion, it's a bit like Christmas when you have all the surprises and you don't know what you get.
Somebody's making a joke, and somebody's make a wood chopper that makes enemy forest to plains as production. And the thing is, I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was a card in the prototype that actually was a woodcutter that actually did something there was a woodcutter. I just don't remember whether it
area for transforming a forest into
like, you know, oh god, each turn, like, if this production, if standing on a forest at the beginning of your turn, you know, removes forest, gives you a Faeria. He would just walk on the enemy's forest, be like oh. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, we're playing a board game here, and that's why I think it's so lovely that we can have so many things that interact with the board, you know, and when people go like, what's so different about Faeria and those other card games that I like? It's, well, because we have a board and you don't, you know, simple, you know, it's my number one, you know, answer or sales argument when it comes to like what makes Faeria different to other card games is that we're so much more a board game than just a card game. You know, there is this board interaction, and I just hope they give us much more to do with the board.
Just a general ability wheel, which basically is the board you create, but also you have the ability to draw one extra card. Like when I play other card games, it's so much about card advantage and often top decking, and with Faeria you can draw 2 cards each turn, so the RNG of top decking is reduced by half because you have 2 options. It's also a skill that you need to know, do you want to draw, or is it better to do something else here?
And it doesn't matter how much they bring that RNG down, though, I'm still going to complain about it.
Like you should never stop when there's problems. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, what if we didn't draw cards? Okay, no RNG there, right?
At once, just put all 30.
I think someone actually wanted to make a card game where you have all your cards starting.
I mean, there's theoretically, I'm not sure if they exist, but I mean, there's basically, you know, there's card games which you play with a deck of cards where everybody gets a hand of cards, but you don't draw any more after that, right? So, you know, the idea behind, like, you know, I mean, there's definitely, but that has nothing, to do here with Faeria. I feel like, because that's not a thing.
Yeah.
But what just taking some stuff from Twitch before we actually end this episode. What do you think about having different board designs? I know we've touched this before.
I mean,
it's something people want and like the idea of, but
I wouldn't mind seeing it for kind of fun game modes, similar to like Hearthstone does the Tavern Brawls every week, that you get a different mechanic to play with. I could see it for that. From a competitive standpoint, there are going to be decks that are going to be better or worse on boards if you're just randomly given a different board. There's no way that you can actually have that at a competitive level. Just because it's just like, okay, I'm queuing with this deck. If I get this board, I'm in good shape. If I get this board, I win the game. And if I get this board, I just lose. So,
like you said, it's a very good idea for a fun mode.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking about that as well. But then the downside is you split the player base and you have longer queue times. But a very cool idea for this could be you could make it an event. Let's say only 2 hours each day. You can play this mode, and that would maybe even motivate people to get into the game, try this mode just for a limited time. So if they ever wanted to make something like a brawl mode, it should maybe be like 2 times each day for 1 hour where it's open, and then everybody jumps in and plays that.
I don't mind if they throw that that shit into like Pandora or something, which is already kind of crazy, right? but a guy is asking like, what about special board for a single season? The problem with another board design is that it kind of wrecks the whole balance of the game. Like, even if you consider the game to be not balanced and there to be OP stuff, like, it doesn't matter, like, whether you consider that, because the moment you change the board, everything that they've worked slowly towards trying to figure out and balance is out the window, right? And it's probably going to be more broken than ever, where something is going to be extremely dominating and other things are just going to be bad. So even now, when we might be able to argue that, well, we have a bunch of decks that are able to get God rank, are competitive, sure, they might not, there could be 60-40 matchups and stuff like that. Everything is out the window the moment you make a different board. The only thing I can see them making, and by the way, I say this, I played Faeria, again, a lot of people are not around anymore that played this game in 2013 when there was a prototype. It was on Kickstarter, and the board was like much bigger, and the game took 45 minutes. Like, it took so long just to get across. But the game was different in the sense where there was different cards, mechanics. It was very different because obviously back then they were trying to balance the game for the big board. And I'm actually kind of, after being here for like a year since release, since early access now, I'm just kind of glad that the game is better, smaller, because even now we can have games that take 20 minutes or whatever, right? Which feels long, while, we can have shorter, quicker games, and the board feels, they found a good size.
The board and all the mechanics in Faeria is just perfect. It only comes down to some balance stuff. Maybe make the game even better, but the structure of the game is just flawless. Like.
Yeah,
and the only board I want to see is a straight line in the middle.
However, obviously, the 2 versus 2 matches, if that happen, or whatever the co-op stuff is going to be, I'm excited for that, because that's where we can have different stuff, right? Like, because they're not going to need to balance it so much, if it's 2 versus 1 boss or something, whatever this thing with the Oversky is going to be. And a lot of people are hoping for 2 versus 2, and I am hoping for that too eventually. That could be really fun. And then then it doesn't matter as much, I think, because as long as they don't kind of make that a competitive mode, then it will have to be what it is, because it's going to be extremely difficult if they're going to go like, oh, here's a 2 versus 2 mode, and now we have to balance the game for 2 very different, modes, right? It will just have to figure itself out where, but, at the same time, I don't know, 2 versus 2 might, if there's 2 versus 2 multiplayer, we're gonna have less people queuing the other modes and stuff like that. I'm kind of like, I'm just hoping that the co-op battle will be extremely fun, so we can do a lot of things like that.
Even just the card text, in the sense, sorry to interrupt you, Shadee, but just even the card text, like, everything says, like, your buffs are target a friendly creature. certain things might have to be retouched to say target a creature you control instead of a friendly creature if we do ever get to that 2v2 mode.
Yeah.
But that's something specific in the card text.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How is the 2v2 mode gonna be? I don't know. Why not just a four-man free-for-all mode? Like, why does it have to be 2 versus 2? Can it just be 4 people at each corner of the...
People crying for bullying in the Discord because they get 3v1s.
Oh! Take the blue jump player first!
Yes.
As soon as you see that, like, everybody's going for him.
Free-for-all never works. Yeah, but I'm just saying. I'm not sure anything is gonna work, but whatever, right? Anyway, it's funny. Lou asked for a shorter episode. I was like, I don't know, man. We gotta talk about the new cards. It might be I really don't want to promise anything, but we might have a shorter episode right here on our hands because we're kind of at the end.
This episode was pretty good.
Good, short, productive.
Yeah.
We got through the cards, got some other bullshit in, and things is good. It even means that I might have time to play 2-3 games of HOTS. So. That's gonna be my after show end of it all, I think. So if anybody wants to join me in HOTS, then we can do some HOTS. Cause yeah, I like that too. That's my secondary game. Cause I don't know. I'll get back on Faeria tomorrow, I think, and do some more experimentation, or just go like, hey, what have Lou and the others figured out? Just hand it over here. Let us enjoy the good fun stuff. I'm actually gonna play more of that bargain, I think. Well, I guess by tomorrow it will be broken. Like, people figured it out. I don't know. It's kind of funny when you play stuff before people have, figured everything out. But yeah. All right. Awesome. Anything else to add? Not really. Maybe.
No, I don't think so.
It's nice to see people having fun with the game again. I saw a lot of people saying that today. It's so nice to see everybody just kind of take a break and just go nuts with new cards.
I think you're the only one who were really crying, man. I don't know. I like I say, I play Pandora to have fun, and sometimes I go into construct. Like, my constructed experience really is very like. Sometimes during the metas, I will be like, oh, great, this suits me. There's some archetypes and some fun stuff to do. But the moment things are like, oh, I only get dominated here by blue jump and yellow events and stuff like that, I just get really bored really quickly. Because I end up losing because I don't want to play that myself usually. I kind of want to play other things and, So, yeah, I'm just happy when there's, things are up in the air and I can get in there and get some games going around like, hey, I'm winning because they did not see this one coming, or they're also experimenting, things like that. So that's fun. Yeah, I like it. Honestly, the green hand buff stalker thing, like, I'm on like a 50-50 win with it. So it's obviously not, like, it's not great, but it's really fun, like, really, really fun. And I think I might have had a better win ratio if I knew that I didn't have to play it adjacent. So I've already kind of misplayed a lot with that. Like, I thought I had to play it adjacent. So, alright. Anyway, thank you for watching this live cast of the Kappa Council. This will be on YouTube tomorrow, one way or another. So if you came late, or if you're watching it on YouTube now, then now you're watching on YouTube. Great. So thank you, Lou, Shadee, Scorch. You guys take good care, and we will see you guys soon again. Yeah, I'm really bad with outros. Just take care. Don't go anywhere if you're watching this. I'm gonna continue streaming for 1 or 2 more hours, I think. Just do like a little bit of outro thing. I'll see what I do. HOTS or Faeria. I kind of just feel like playing more games. I should go to bed, but what is bed, right? Like, who gives a shit? Let's just play some more games. All right, so that means we're going to this, and thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, yeah.